Welcome back, everybody, to episode 186 of The Lookout. I am Meelz. I'm here with LJ. We are still covering Death Note. What is up?
You know, after this week, I really wish I had the Death Note.
Oh, for
I'm not gonna say what I'm allegedly use it for,
yeah.
and I'm not gonna say
All right, so here's what you.
I'm not
here's
gonna say
what.
the alleged names I would have wrote in there.
Oh, okay, all right. Oh, yeah.
But
I would say,
I will
but
say
allegedly,
this.
let's say, how about this? If you were Light Yagami, how would you use the Death Note?
All I'm gonna say is that there will be a parade in New York this week.
Oh wow. Okay. All right. We're getting there.
There would have been a parade, and it would have been because of me.
Would you have?
No, I don't know. See, I've been thinking about that this entire time of like,
really, the Death Note?
because I feel that any person that says they wouldn't have used it is a bold-faced liar.
Here's my.
You would have used
it. I don't have anybody I hate as much. Maybe on like a certain presidential candidate, but other than that, realistically, like I feel like that might cause.
I feel that
issue.
If you took 15 minutes to really think, there are probably 10 people in this world, regardless if you have any connection to them or not, that you feel that if they were gone, the world would be a better place.
That's a hard no for me. Whether I feel like the world would be a better place if they weren't in it.
Yes.
I don't know if I would necessarily go out my way to commit the things that Light Yagami did. Nah, I don't think so. I don't have the God complex or self-justice thing that he has, where he believes that we need to create a new world and this would be a better world. I don't have that kind of complex at all.
Oh, I do.
I realize how
radical.
Everything.
I'm like, you know.
I'm just letting you know when people say that you're violence and thing, you're like, I'm not even that violent. Like, this is what we're talking about. I'm just letting you know. It's like when you're like, I'm not even that violent anymore. I don't even know what people are talking about. And then you would say like, give me 15 minutes and I would have at least 10 people I would write in the Death Note. This is what we're talking about. Heads up.
All I'm saying is that it would be 10 people that, once again, if they were not here, like you said, there is an alleged candidate.
Sure.
You know, like.
But I don't even think I would use it on. I mean, it depends. But I don't even think I would really use it. I don't have any person that I hate strongly enough. This is why the things that Light Yagami has done and what we learn about everybody in this chapter is so like baffling to me. But yeah, I don't think I'm not built that way.
I just feel that for me to go and say, oh, would it use it, or if I had it, I'll be reluctant, I feel that would be a lie. And I personally feel that any person in that position,
I feel like you would not use it as much as you think that you would.
I probably wouldn't use it a lot, but I would.
I don't think you'd use it much or any at all. I think you'd be like, I don't know, this don't seem right.
No,
like
there's definitely some people that can go. I would use it. It wouldn't be like an all the
time. I don't disagree with you that there's people that I can go, but I don't think that you should be the one or would be the one to do it.
Yeah.
Because what you need a Death Note for, just do it. You know, do your own dirty work. With that said,
yeah, that's so much easier said than done. This is so much more discreet.
Well, yes,
it would never be connected back to you.
This is what this whole series is about.
There is no one in the world. There is no one in the world as smart as L. There's no detective in the world as smart as L.
Let me tell you something. World. Don't underestimate the detectives and forensics and all this other stuff like that. Don't underestimate that crap.
We just saw Young Thug get off this week. There's no way y'all gonna tell me.
Right, but in the same breath, we just saw Dirk go in. So it's like, what are we doing? And Young Thug had a
Dirk was actually stupid though.
Here's my thing. Here's my thing. Like, if you don't think that after a certain time people would be like, there's something going on here, we got to figure this out. It may happen. It may not happen. I don't know if they'd go to lengths of all these like shoddy, like this series has a lot of like fake television programs that they put up, and I don't know if we'd go to that lengths of like faking programming on television in order to catch a highly publicized killer. I don't know if they'd go that far because Americans love their television. Maybe in Japan, maybe the shit is you interrupt a week's full of One Piece to bring a special sit-down interview with the guy who knows Kira. Like, maybe they'll do that over there, but I don't know if they do that in Japan. You think NFL Sunday is getting interrupted just because someone wants to find Kira? Hell to no.
But listen,
probably not.
I think, once again, that if the Death Note was real and someone was using it, it would be way harder to connect them to it than it would be, because there's no fingerprint, there's no forensic evidence. They just dying of a heart attack. So you could just be like, dang, this is a mad coincidence that all these people are dying of a heart attack.
I think people would come to certain various conclusions.
They could be. It would be.
I would also think. So are we assuming that if it was real, we'd live in a world where, if it was real, you know what? I don't know. I just can't. I
feel that if it was real, the most we get out of it is a really good Reddit thread.
I don't know about that.
We'll just get a good Reddit thread. It will legit become a YouTube conspiracy theory. All these people died of heart attack. Could the Death Note be real? And like, that's it. Like, the cops are not gonna really like. They're not.
It depends who would be. It depends.
Yeah, it really does depend who got it, because like I said, I know that if some YNs got it, it's going on Instagram Live immediately. They're gonna be having Instagram Lives right in that joint.
What did you learn from the first part of Death Note?
That black people should not have the Death Note.
All right, well, there you go. Last week, I forgot to mention how much this show actually reminds me of the reality competition show Traitors. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but it follows a similar concept, and maybe based on Death Note, to be real with you. I don't know. It follows a similar concept, except it's with reality television stars, and it's pretty funny and also very intense. It gets as intense as this is, but it's an actual game. So it's a game to win, I think, about $200,000. And they're pseudo celebrities or real people, depending on which season that you watch. And they introduce 2 traitors at the beginning of the game. And the rest of the groups, including the traitors, goal is to find the traitors and get them out of the game. But after each deliberation, after every episode, a traitor must kill one of the people sitting at the table. So if they don't catch the traitors are going to continue to kill them. So it's actually like a really, really great reality television show. It was very, very funny. It won an Emmy, which is unheard of for this thing. Only Drag Race used to win an Emmy. But Traitors won an Emmy. It was really, 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 really good. And this series, to me, it kind of does remind me of Traitors in a sense. Like, after a certain point, it falls off. And I have questions about this second act.
Yeah, this second act wasn't as nearly as good as the first. And
you know what? I'm trying to look at it from a wider lens. And I felt like it served the purpose in a way, but it was not as interesting as the dynamic of Light versus L that really took up the bulk of the first 17 episodes of the show.
I think for every you always need a foil. You need a good, head, 2 people going against each other. I think this second part you kind of lose that because of, obviously Light losing his memory and all these other things.
Yeah, Light did his best. So he was in a situation where he felt like he was cornered, right? Like, so in an instance, L was winning because of Misa essentially being introduced to the thing and kind of like messing a little bit of it up. So he was put in a no-win situation. So he chose to all right, I'm going to expel myself from this, hopefully get out, and create a very big turnaround plot to get the Death Note back again, but also expel myself. The real goal was to expel himself of any suspicion that he was Kira. And that's honestly, that's the same thing they do in Traders, right? Like if you ever watch a show, that's the same thing they do. You should watch like the first like 2-3 episodes.
It's on the cock?
It's on Peacock.
Yeah, on the cock.
Unfortunately. Well, it's a good show. It's a good show. I think you depending on your tolerance of reality television.
Reality TV isn't too bad. Like I like game shows. Like those are kind of
this is one of them.
It's just like, because like it's like you get to see in real time how people think and how they're gonna handle certain things.
Right, and this is a big thinker
TV where it's like these niggas are just living their lives and I'm just watching someone live their life.
Right, this is a big gamer show. Like if you're gaming and thinking and all this other stuff like that, like this is one of them shows. But
who's the dude? Who's the person that hosts it? I know
it is. Oh my god, Alan Cummings.
There we go. I was like, I know
he's a Scottish guy.
I wanted to say Martin Short for some reason, but Alan.
He hosted the Emmys, I think. Alan Cummings, yeah, he was good. I didn't know he did so many films before. Like this is my thing. He's a very accomplished person before he was the host of like a reality television show that I liked.
Yeah, he was in Spy Kids. That's how I knew his face. I was like, "You're the guy."
I remember him from GoldenEye. Is how I remember. But Spy Kids is funny. I never watched Spy Kids.
You never seen Spy Kids?
Not really. It wasn't for me. I didn't like I was like, I don't know.
By the time Spy Kids dropped, though, you were what? 32?
Nah, I was still a kid.
I know you were.
Believe it or not. I was 11.
That's crazy.
But it never appealed to me. No. I was like, Spy Kids, I'll watch it when it comes on Disney. And then never watched it. But with that said, so the one thing transferring from this first act of the series to the second act, which is only about episodes 17 through 28, or 27 or 28. Where did we cap off?
We ended this second
28.
Yeah, so this second thing is from
18 to 26.
Yeah, 27.
27. Okay, cool. So from here, the Death Note has been transferred, so it doesn't die; it just multiplies. You know what I'm saying? To a new host, and this was all part of the plan. But now Light is working with L to catch this new Kira. But Light is still, and I think it's the intuition that really carries the tension going throughout this, because L still very much believes that if Light is not Kira, he was Kira at one point, like for sure. And he's upset because he's like, I know I'm right, but I'm wrong. Like, this is bugging him out. Like, what did you kind of get of like this before we get into kind of like what ends up happening? But like the whole tension, I guess, underlying tension of like, I know he Kira. Like at the end of the day,
I think the best part about this is the fact that they were coming to throwing blows about it,
as he should, and they were attached to each other. So every time someone punched one another, they would get carried by the other.
Yeah, it'll get like it's just a recoil.
And L was like, I may look weird, but I'm not weak at all.
He's like, I got hands. Don't play with me for sure.
Exactly. His favorite character in Naruto is. It's probably the guy with the shadows, right?
Maybe. I don't know. He's seen. Yeah. Oh, no. It's gonna be. Yeah. Shikamaru.
Who's the Light favorite character in Naruto? Be sense of justice.
Pain. He's a Pain guy for sure.
Pain, probably.
He's a Pain guy for sure.
Pain was onto something.
Yeah.
How could you like Jiraiya? Ill is what he would say.
Yeah, like pervy sage. Like, get out of here.
Yeah. I'm sure Misa liked Jiraiya.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Maybe. Yeah,
she's a pervy sage herself.
Yeah,
bucket. That's all I got from this. Well, I was like, Misa is really.
What I learned from
this act. Misa's like, if Light was a pimp, like Misa would be the perfect bottom bitch.
You know what? Fair enough. How about that? That's what a word.
Like, she'll be perfect. She'll break in all the new girls though. Like, she take orders. Like, she like, hey, listen, I'm down for the program.
I'm down to do anything, man. I'm down to sacrifice my own reputation for Light Yagami. So, we do whatever Light says. I like what Drake likes. You know what I'm saying? Either way, what I learned from the second part is it's much easier to catch Kiro when he is a regular person who is not some super genius prodigy kid who, has this god complex at all. When Kira is normal, everyday, selfish asshole of a person, he is much easier to catch. So the plot evolves from figuring out, because they have to figure out who the new Kira is, and they learn about Yotsuba, this Yotsuba company who's been benefiting. All these other CEOs have been dying. All their competition has been dying. And again, super selfish way to use it. Like, you a CEO of one company, and it's like, what would be a perfect way to use a death note? Kill everybody who's in competition with me. It would be like, who would use the death note? What field would I say?
Oh, for sure, Silicon Valley would be woo.
That's what I'm thinking.
The tech, it'll be nasty work.
Head of Uber kills the head of DoorDash. Kills the head of Lyft.
Yeah,
kills the head of
Elon going crazy with it.
Oh, this is true. Nah, we can't let it get in his hands for sure.
Oh, for sure. Nah, man, listen, San Francisco will be fried.
But
hell yeah.
But there's a new Kira out there.
Oh, finance too. Wall Street.
I mean, listen. But the new Cura's out there. Again, 7 heads of the CEO company, and they're going out and they're having meetings every Friday after work and saying, like, who should we kill this week? What about this guy? What about this guy? And having interesting things, and we know that it leads it up to there, and then we get the interaction between them. We get none other than Matsuda, who is, I'm starting to use these officers' names. We did not use their names at all in the first part, because to be honest, I didn't give a damn who they were. As long as it's not Chief Yagami himself. But even though Chief Yagami does get shot in this part for whatever reason, I think he could have. I think the bullet he jumped in front of the person would have lived, but I felt like he wanted to make it all about himself and dive in front of a bullet. So
yeah, what a selfish guy.
Got to make it about him. Either way,
he's sick.
Matsuda is pretending to be Misa Amane's manager, sees the headquarters of Yotsuba's, and decides, hey, you know what? I could probably sneak in there and find out who the hell Kira is. Anyway, he gets caught pretty easily, and they might kill him. So they get to this whole thing, this whole situation where it's like, I'm the manager of Misa, and she could do something for you. She could be the head, and we could do all the promo for your company. And they're like, oh my God, that's a great idea. Never thought of a face of our company. Yotsuba Group? Never thought of...
You can tell who paid attention in marketing 101.
Yeah. It was like, we got to. So,
he's someone popular to promote my product? Never thought of that idea.
So, Misa Amane ends up throwing this, like, party kind of with scantily clad women to help have this thing. Now, let me ask you this question. Have you ever been at a party bad enough where you would in turn fake your own death to get out of said party? Maybe. Trying to think. I probably would have. Probably a class. Probably something. He does it the wild way, though. He's definitely like, hey, I'm drunk. Let me walk on my hands on the
he ledge. Went over the top. My bad. Oof. Yeah, he went kind of... You know what? He sold it, though. He got fake drunk. He started doing like, hey, I could do a handstand on the... Misa cheering him on.
He falls over.
That plan right there.
Talk about it.
Had such like a slim margin for error. He would have
falls out onto a mattress. They slide the mattress, and in 40 seconds, they throw some big bag of sand on the bottom, and then they have to replace the bag of sand with a body real quick, and then have fake ambulance people pick up the body, and they're like, "We got to get out of here before we're put to this entire situation." I'm like, this is a lot just to get. I mean, to be fair,
just the mattress thing alone, like you fall like an inch or two, just a little bit too far out.
Yeah,
you're done. You're fried. He would have really died.
Well, he lives. And he's going to be used much later on. Anyway, they also in the future plan. There's probably some mad. I'm going big picture things with this Let's Catch Higuchi kind of vibe. So they discover that Higuchi,
he's always 10 steps ahead. He's always
he
had this plan since he walked into the office 4 days ago.
But they really, really want to try to figure out what the Yosuba group definitely wants to do is find out L's identity, because they're like, L is going to kill us if he finds us. And he's super smart, so he will find the new Kira. But they also need to prove L is not willing to kill them back in order to prove. It's like, we need to figure out how this is going to be used. Like, how is he killing these people? Like, we need to find that out before we even kill anybody. We need to find that out. Anyway, it's this. The Yotsuga group eventually has another meeting with Misa Amane. Mind you, also Yotsuga group has a snitch in the crew. They're like, L calls one of them, says, "Listen, do what I says, and y'all will all be thinged."
And he didn't even second guess. He ain't try to stand firm or nothing. He was like,
because he wasn't feeling it. Because regular people wouldn't do this.
You folded quick.
Regular people wouldn't do this. I think they all started genuinely feeling bad about killing so many people and having to keep up with the killings. It's like, oh my God, we got to kill more people just to get people from stop thinking of us killing people. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to put more bodies on top of the bodies. But either way,
that's because they were wilding though. Like they were having,
they were,
like they.
But this is also a weird.
They were kind of moving like niggas with it. Where they're kind of having these secret meetings. They're taking out the competition. Like they're taking out very obvious people that they would take out. But
this is also a very weird stretch of the show. This is a very weird turn for the show, considering what it was actually about and who's it supposed to be about, and then having to. I don't know if you've ever seen Yu-Gi-Oh. No, you haven't.
I haven't. I tell you.
Yeah. This is one of the things I know about you. It's you and Yu-Gi-Oh, and then also Ricochet has never seen Pokemon, never experienced it.
Now that's something different. How do you?
When we get him back, when we get him back, we're gonna grill him about that. Because to me, when I learned that about him, he was like, I'll let him tell it. But I was just like, what is wrong with you? But yeah, a whole part of his childhood kind of gone missing. Either way. So they have another interview with Misa Amane, and all the executives are there, and they're like, "We heard that you're Kira," and they're like, "Yeah, but I'm not." So it is what it is. And as everyone goes to the bathroom, Misa Amane is eventually low-key abducted by Rem, her former Shinigami, who loves her enough to really stand in the way of whoever she's actually representing with the Death Note. And hits her with the paper so she can see her, and essentially says yo, I'm going to help you find out who Kira is. And it's this whole thing. This leads to her downfall eventually as well, like Rem's downfall, of her loving Misa Amane too much, and Misa kind of I don't know, she just cooling with her. I also find it hilarious that Rem looks like Jamaican. Just does big hoop earrings, little dread thing. I'm just seeing it now.
Oh, that's funny. That's hilarious. But I never even thought of that, and then as soon as you said it, I was like, "There, yes."
Yeah, a little Jamaican.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Ribs for sure. A Jamaican Shinigami.
Absolutely.
What's Ryu?
I'm trying to
Ryu?
I don't even know. Metal something. I don't know. This entire stretch is weird to me. Like this entire B plot. I get what it's supposed to be, right? Like it's supposed to be.
I don't think that what was done with the Death Note, the people that got it, was interesting enough for me to like stay, especially after we just saw Light and like that Light and L thing, because it was like, wow, like Light was moving like crazy, but he was so super smart about it. Like he had every
Right.
contingency plan known to man. Like he
This is
really had,
this is
like
like a
L had a work.
7. Right. This is like a 7-episode B plot. But I mean, I get why it's here. This is here to really show you from a third party perspective, from like a third thing perspective, third POV of the Kira. Have Light and L work together. You build that trust with them. So you're building up that thing eventually for, you know, as we'll figure out L's demise. But you're building up this entire thing. But you've also like introduced all these characters that no one gives a damn about. With these motivations that are very much like simple. Like it's not as enticing as the game that L and Light played, because once Misa Mane kind of figures out and also spills to the group that Higuchi is Kira, then it becomes like, all right, we just got to catch him and we're going to follow him and we're going to set up this plan. And they set up the plan, and it's a similar plan to what they did with Light. But this just goes off with a hitch way, way easier because he's a self-absorbed asshole who doesn't really think about anything of himself. So he's like, oh, they set up this television show, this fake television show with the Matsuda. And once he's like, I gotta find his name. I gotta find his name. And it's that panic that sets in that really starts to really, 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 really lead to his demise. But I have another question as well. Because eventually when he realizes he can't find a name, he goes to the place, he tries to look at the file, the name isn't there, he tries to find this person's name isn't there. He gains the Shinigami eyes, and I'm wondering if that's the fate that leads him to where he dies, or was it always going to happen the way it happened? Like the Shinigami eyes lead to your demise in that. Because I say this because we're going to talk about it a little bit later, but Misa also gets the Shinigami eyes back later at the end, and the reason why Rem ends up passing is because she saves her from what would probably have led to her getting caught and killed.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if the Shinigami eyes really play any major factor in like
it was already fated that you were gonna die. The Shinigami eyes is like a kind of a predestined thing.
Right.
Yeah, probably. I wouldn't count it out. Where Gucci messed up is like he was just too thirsty.
Well, this is true.
If he wasn't as thirsty as he was for Misa, he probably would still be alive.
He's like, I got money. I'm the Kira. I got Misa Mane.
Like he was lit for me. He was just too thirsty.
Well, this is true, but we get into like Michael Bay area of the show.
Oh yeah, no, it turns into
once he gets the Shinigami eyes and he kills that police officer in the street. They're like, we gotta go in. You know what I'm saying? So suddenly there's a helicopter. What's my man's name? Watari. he lines up. You know what I'm saying? He puts on the helmet. You got the sniper. Leave it to an old guy, like a random old man. Like every anime has one. Some random old dude who's nice with it. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, get to this point where they're like following him on the chopper. Like Yagami's dad gets shot at the studio, and he's so we're on a high speed chase down the street. And normally I love high speed chases. Let me tell you something. If there's a high speed chase, usually it's like someone will send a link on Twitter. I'm watching the entire thing.
Wow, that's something new I learned about you today.
There's nothing better than watching a high speed chase. It's like it's something you're able to react to in real time. like you're able to say like, oh, don't go there, man. They got cops over there. And usually it ends with someone trying to like jump into someone's lawn, or they're like rolling down the streets. They try to clear out the streets. So whoever's driving is doing the wildest driving they've ever done in their life. It's a great thing to see.
No, this wasn't as exciting. Are really fun.
This wasn't as exciting though.
This one was kind of trash. First of all, you got this like, I don't know what kind of car he had. It looked like a red Porsche, but sure. we'll go with Porsche. It's like you didn't switch a gear or nothing. I'm like, why are you going 60? I'm like, you didn't like this isn't. I'm like, you're still driving the speed limit. It feels like
this shit must be some Japan shit.
Like how are you breaking the law but yet following the law at the same time?
Well, he's getting nervous now because then he gets stopped by a bunch of cops, and I was like, bro, any genius would have said, I'm running into all of them cars. Like, fuck that. Kill me or don't. So, he eventually gets cut off. He's ready to blow his brains.
Are always superior.
Yeah, this is true. But I mean,
I've never seen a car chase video where the motorcycle got caught.
I've never seen one, but this is true. So anyway, they do this. They do all of this. They roll down the street. He gets stopped by the cars. He tries to off himself. Watsuri says, "Nuh-uh, you're not getting off that easy." Shoots the gun out of his hand. And then they apprehend him. And he's like, death note in my car. You know what I'm saying? I got a notebook that kills people and stuff like that. So they're like, all right, give me the notebook. So, of course, who's got to grab the notebook first? Chief Yagami.
Yeah, he had to make this, I did it.
Chief Yagami thing is like,
he's not even the police chief anymore.
No, he's not. But he's like, I could probably become police chief again after this. Like, they got everything here. Anyway, gets up scared because Rem is there. Big Jamaican Rem. And then someone else comes and touches the notebook and they start seeing her and they start freaking out. And then they hand the book over to L and he sees her and he's like, oh, Shinigami. It's like that Christmas commercial. They do exist. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then, but the wildest part is L's like hand it over. Takes the book and suddenly his body count refreshes. He sees everybody. He sees everything. And then it's like Future comes back on. You know what I'm saying? What did you think about this runaround thing? Essentially to give Light back the Death Note in this situation. And not only the Death Note, his Death Note. This was a whole, like, I'm going to hand the book to you, Ryuk, and then you hand it to Rem, and then she's going to drop it on the floor, and then I'm going to pick it up.
Yeah, it's just like, I don't know. It was just like one of those things of, obviously.
It's a plan.
It's definitely a plan, for sure. It's a plan. I think, once again, with this second stretch, we'll call it Act 2.
Yeah.
With Act 2, I think
Act 3 is even weirder, so I don't know if you've watched it yet.
I've only watched one episode after this.
Okay.
So,
all right. It's very much
I didn't do it. See, look, aren't you proud of me? I didn't do the typical
LJ you did thing. A little, though, so I can't
I didn't do the typical LJ. No.
But you did a little.
If I went full LJ, I would have been done with the series.
I feel like if you had more time today, you probably might have watched it.
If Wisteria Wand and Sword wasn't so damn good.
Okay.
I've been itching to get back to that. Okay. But no, I think that as soon as Act 2 started in my head, I'm like, okay, he's gonna get the book back.
I mean, the series is still going on.
I'm like, okay, he's gonna get the book back. How is he going to get the book back? And like, once it kind of like one of the business guys got it, you kind of see it, you're like, okay, like who's gonna fuck up? Like that was just I was like, who's gonna fuck up? And, you know, obviously we started figuring it out. I think the moment when he touches the book is more exciting than the plan of like
the moment
the moment he gets all his memories back.
The moment he touches the book, he's won. He's because not only, and we'll talk about everything that they did to the book all afterwards, like writing them fake ass rules, but not only does he write the fake rules to throw off any suspicion that it could be him from all these lame duck cops, but he's freed himself. He's put himself in a position where he's essentially like, he's a freed man. They can't, no one's going to, he ruins essentially L's entire thing leading up to like why Light is Kira. So no one is going to believe. I mean, they believe it. L believes that they're still firmly Kira, was Kira, something along those lines. And I think throughout the rest of it, we'll talk about what ends up after this shit. But
no, L never stopped believing. He knew.
Yeah, but the moment he touches this book, he's like, oh, I've won. And the moment he kills the old Kira, he's like, all right, there's no one, literally no one can stop me now. Because they can't learn anything more about this book. They can't.
Now, I'll say this:
he writes the name with blood.
Watch shit was so tight. Crazy. That shit was tight. That shit was tight. And then like the whole like old habits die hard. I knew I'd have the watch on. And then he just writes it in blood.
I hate this shit.
And he writes it in blood.
I don't like that. I'll tell you what I don't like.
Okay, why don't you like it?
No. I'll tell you. I'm about to tell you in like 5 minutes. I'll tell you right in 5 minutes. Either way, they uncover all these rules. It's like, oh my god, there's 2 more rules now. If the rule said that you have to write a name within 13 days or you're going to die. And then also, if you destroy the book, everyone who touches the book will die. Oh my god. That means we can't destroy the book. And also, L, Light, and Misa are completely free. And this nigga L is so sour. He's like, nah, this is whack.
He's like, this is all bullshit.
He was like, I need to know. I know there's a second book. We need to capture the second book. And that's really what his plot was going to be moving forward. Because a lot of his suspicions end up being, okay, how can we get this second book? Now, Misa Mane ends up recovering her Death Note ownership, and she gets Ryuk as her Shinigami. Light L is very vigilant now and looking at Light because I think he also discovers that the disposition has completely changed from what it was before. And I think that's the underrated thing about this. Like, while there is so much knowledge that he has going in of like who these people are and like all these situations and all the proof that he's gathered and all the hard actual proof, I think the one thing that's been carrying him through this entire series is that his intuition has said, this motherfucker is Kira. And that girl is also Kira. And I'm not going to stop believing that they're Kira because every bit of evidence and then also my own just gut feeling is saying that they're Kira. Like he senses their bloodlust. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Leading, looking over his shoulder. There's a moment where he's trying to talk to Rem and it's like, yo, Rem, you know, if someone wanted to write something in the book, could they? And she doesn't answer, and then it makes it look like.
And shout out to Rim though, because I feel like Rim was
she's
solid.
A dumbass. No, she cooked herself.
Man, she cooked herself for sure. She cooked herself for sure, but like
she had enough wherewithal to get Misa out of danger, but I guess didn't want to thing her enough that it would land her back in jail.
I feel that Light, now really thinking about his plan, Light did the right thing of making Rem the Shinigami for that book, because if it was Ryuk would have been like, fucking for the sake of chaos, I'll tell you.
Yeah. What? Of course. I mean, I could make up stuff if you want me to write in it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like one of those things.
Yeah.
But also, we get this little sequence of Misa Mane walking through the city. It's very creepy. But she's singing the song and like people are continuing to die and all this other stuff like that. And
what song would you play here? I'm playing Young Thug Die today.
Shoot. Let me actually look at my playlist.
Well, somebody gonna die today. Somebody gonna die today.
Hold on. Let me see. What would I play here? A good song to go out to. Let me see. I don't even know if I have one. Shit. I don't have one on me. That's a good question though. It'll probably be some Travis Scott related. But she trails through the city and again fully still believes that one of them is thing, but he's also accepted his defeat. So now we get into the final part of this entire act, which is the death of L. And L, one of the notable things is that he's standing out in the rain and he says he hears this bell, and the bell sound is unusually loud today. And he's standing in the rain, and then they go back inside. And then, like you said, he starts rubbing the feet of Light.
This is... They should have just kissed. Fuck it.
But
they should have just went all the way with it.
I think in this moment, Light felt bad for L, despite what they've all done and what they've been through in this like battle of wits thing that they've been hiding. But I think he legitimately feels bad. And I think Light is fully accepting, because he says, you and I will part ways soon. He's fully accepting of what the reality is in this situation, because he knows that they're L. He knows that they're Kira. And he knows that he's going to die soon. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, they're going to make arrangements. They have this whole new plan, essentially, to find out if these new additional rules have been adding to the book. They have to prove all the rules at some point, but they have to find out the additional rules to this thing, if it's going to live or not. Anyway, nuts of that, because Rem is like, yeah, nah, we're not doing all that, because that would implicate Misa Amane. That would end up killing her. And she essentially writes Watiti's name in the book. Watiti's dead. You're like, oh my God. And he manages to hit all data deletion on the computer. Shit is going crazy.
Yeah, he hit the control delete, he hit the hard reset.
Moments later, Rem also writes L's real name, which we never find out. It's one of the big mysteries of this thing. We never find out what his real name actually is, but she writes the name down, and he also dies in this situation. And you see that Light smiles as he passes away, but then also there's a sense of relief as well. He dies peacefully because he kind of knows that he was right at the end of this all. And it leads to the death of L. And I think this is one of the, moving forward and knowing what happens, this to me is one of the big critical failures of this
It's
series.
so whack, just because it's like you go through this entire process of...
It's 25 episodes of a 37 episode series, and he dies 2/3 of the way through.
And I don't even think it's the timing, right? Like, even if he died early, cool, whatever. It's the fact that, like, it's always kind of been this L versus Light thing, and the fact that Light doesn't get the satisfaction of writing his name in the Death Note. It's like, that's where I'm like, this is where you missed me.
That's true.
You know, like that is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the satisfaction of either one completing their mission. Like, Light, quote unquote, kills him, where more L dies. Light doesn't really kill him. He just gets his, his win.
Right.
But it's just kind of like,
he gets the win, but it's not like a real, like,
it's not like a real W. It's like you put it's
like a wrestling,
it's a bubble
finish.
Championship.
Yeah, it's kind of, well, I don't know. I equate this to more of a wrestling finish, where it's like L goes out looking strong because he isn't really killed by L.
Yeah,
but
it's like when they do a triple threat, just because they needed another person to take the pin, not the other two.
Yeah, No, it's a. It is.
It was whack.
It's whack.
It's whack. I think we can agree that the death of L should have been much more satisfying than it was. Or I mean, either or. Like, it's just more so you wanted to see either one accomplish their goal personally. Like,
yeah.
Even if Light got caught, I wanted L to be the one to be like, "No, I caught you. I got you."
Right.
You know? Or if L died, I want to be Light to be the one to get the satisfaction of seeing the ink dry on the paper.
No, for sure, and it's all of this, yeah, it kind of like falls flat. I was interested in the rest of the series. I was like, okay, so how the rest of this? I looked at it. I was like, okay, we got about after the episode he dies, we have about 12 episodes left. I was like, okay, so how the hell is this gonna go? The final episode of this arc starts off with the essentially half of the episode is a recap of everything that's happening. It shows the build to this. It shows Light Yagami's plan. It's essentially showing you like, all right, this is how Light Yagami won.
It was definitely a highlight clip.
And we get to the end of the episode. He's like, essentially, I mean, Light has all the control. There's nothing anyone can do to touch him. He has all the notes. He has all the things. He has L's and W's. He has L and Watari's voices that he can use for his own discretion. He has everything that they need. He has no suspicion on him, and he's still getting people killed. So there's nothing he can do. They continue killing people. They continue bringing in this new world. They continue doing a whole bunch of other things. The episode ends with a mini computer kind of counting down to 0. They go back to the Wami's house, which is the orphanage that Watari founded, which we learn a little bit more about Watari after his death. And we see 2 children there. And yeah, that is it. How did you feel?
I think I had told you what episode maybe it was around. Is it 10? Maybe? Where I was like, I'm feeling stupid finish alert. And that feeling is just getting stronger and stronger at the moment.
It's just weird. It's just weird not to have the 2 main characters, especially one of the main characters that was the biggest antagonist and biggest opposing force to it, kind of like finish out the show. Now, what happens afterwards happens afterwards, and it's his own little cute.
Because it's like, okay, it's like, all right, I know that Nier is going to be the one to pick up L's whole mission.
Yeah.
And he's essentially L with white hair. He's albino L.
Well, there's 2 versions of L. We'll talk about it next episode, but and we're gonna invite AD on because AD loves the show, and I have to have him on to explain why the fuck this happened. But either way, the new world is going to be created. Everything is going to move on. But yeah, this second act, kind of the death of L. It would have been great if Naomi was still alive. Maybe she can carry it on.
Yeah, nah.
Because then she still has something to get. She still owes Kira for killing her man.
They're in the highlight episode. Still, them showing Naomi walking up the stairs to the noose is such a crazy visual.
Yeah, I think she could have lived because she still has a legit. She still has a legit beef with Kira, and if Kira had killed her, they might have found out who he was immediately and stuff like that. So I don't know. This is strange. I don't really feel it, but I'm not gonna say I don't want to continue it because I'll be honest with you, I was intrigued about how this series is going to end.
Oh no! Like once again, I may feel stupid finish alert in my head, but I gotta see it to the end. Like I have to see this through. Like there's no way I'm gonna stop. I couldn't stop here. Like it would feel incomplete.
Absolutely. So with that said, we got one more part to go. It is a conclusion of Death Note, and then we'll be able to kind of talk about the series as a whole and the decisions that were made, and eventually the end of how this all ends. But with that said, Any final words before we head out of here?
Don't be like was it Higuchi? Don't be like him. Don't crash out because you're too thirsty. That's the lesson I want everyone to take from this episode. She may be bad, but don't crash out because you're too thirsty.
Fair enough. Thank you guys for tuning in. Of course, you can follow The Lookout at The Lookout on RNC Radio and The Lookout on RNC on anywhere where you follow us on social. We'll be back next week with the final part of this. Talk about whatever this ends up being. So thank you guys for tuning in. We will see you guys next week. Take care.